If you've ever taken a hurricane to the face, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back for another episode of Live Trading. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all are doing well. We got our main man back. We are good to roll.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right. Good morning and happy Tuesday, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. Got some stuff coming up here today. So let's see what we can extract from the market here today. It is my pleasure to bring back 13. 13, look, I am glad that you were able to make it through that hurricane. How was it all?
It was windy. That's about as best as I can describe it. Rain. It wasn't too bad where I was, even though it went right through my neighborhood. We had flooding in different parts of the area around me, but I'm fine. House is still here. No flooding in my neighborhood. So I sent you a picture later on that day, yesterday, and it looked like there was nothing that ever happened there. So we're back to business. Let's go down to trading, folks.
Yeah, no, it was actually pretty awesome. I got a picture. I was like, "How you doing?" Doing my stuff through work. I was like, "How you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. We're all fine. Family's fine. I'm just bored because there's no power and no internet." And then he sends me a picture of the sky, and it's just this beautiful blue sky. It's got a little bit of clouds in it. It looked like nothing. We
went outside.
It looked like nothing happened. Nothing happened.
We went on for a walk. We just did the board game thing because we were bored. So yeah, that's all that really happened. We got power back within 12 hours, so everything was fine. Not a big deal.
Let me ask you real quick. What is the board game of choice?
Well, let's see. My kids were playing Guess Who.
That's a good one.
And then we were playing some not Cards Against Humanity, but there's one for kids called Kids Get Maturity. So we did that a little bit of that, but other than that, we just hung out, waited, and just went outside and walked around, took a look at the damage around the neighborhood.
Okay, good stuff. And glad you all are okay. Let's get down to brass tacks here today. Let's start by taking a look at the SPY here. 13, we had another record close yesterday. We are opening up near all-time highs here again today. I will say that the volume yesterday across the entire session was absolutely pathetic. It was one of the lowest volume days in a long time. It was actually the closing print that brought it above the half day from Wednesday. Otherwise, we had that half-day volume day again there in a full session. So really not a whole lot. I know we're kind of drifting up here. The big worry for me on the SPY here, we are extremely extended from the moving averages. We've talked about how we need to pull back. The RSI is completely overgassed here. So we're setting some of these new highs, but it doesn't really have like the confidence, if you will, like that. Like yesterday when we opened, we traded up to a new all-time high, and then we just kind of came back and sat around, didn't do a whole lot. So my question to you is, what do we got going on this week that's going to change that? And what do you think, and what do you see here in terms of levels?
Well, the three things that I'm looking for this week to get some pretty interesting price action are going to be, starting today, we'll have Fed Chair Powell testifying. So that being that the market's up here very extended, he could say something that could cause it to, change that extension and kind of come back in. So that's one thing I'll be looking for today. I think that might be the big news of the day today. Looking forward to the rest of the week. On Thursday, we have CPI. I don't think I need to explain why everybody is going to be looking towards those numbers. And then on Friday, we begin our earnings season. We have banks that start to report, including JP Morgan. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have to say about interest payments and their delinquencies. And rates staying higher for longer. I really want to see what is going to be coming out of their guidance. And that's what I'm going to be looking forward to this week, those big three events.
Okay, there you go. Really good stuff. We'll see what levels get set after some of those events. We'll break it all down for you as we see it. So good stuff there, 13. Okay, let's talk about some of the morning movers here, and we can go over stocks here from the chat. We do have some stuff going on here, so let's go ahead and run it down real quick. First one here is going to be SGNX. Okay, SGNX. This thing is going absolutely ham this morning. Stock closed at about $2 yesterday. We almost printed 7, did we? Yeah, we printed above 7 here. We've come back beneath 7. Sologenic shares are trading higher after the company announced interim results for extended high bright treatment in early stage CTCL patients. That is driving the stock higher here. You can see in the pre-market here, we've had multiple legs up. We've had regression moves that have all been bought. Stock continues to pound the highs here. 13, what do you got on SNGX for today?
So far, this has been the big mover this morning, and that's because we have less than 1 million shares in the float. This is trading on 986.8 thousand shares. They also did a reverse split last month. It was a 1 for 16. That was done on June 6th. So that's one of the reasons why you have such a low float. This is, like you said, getting pushed around pretty easily. But we do have a pretty extended RSI here. So I'm not going to say that out of the gate it's going to fall down, but I'd be careful that if that starts to show signs of curling over here, which it looks like it is. For me, I think this is something that I would want to wait on. And then we still have like 20 minutes before we open anyway. So I'm just going to take a cautious approach to this. There might be some trades in there before we open, but I think when we do open, we might see a lot of profit taking, and then we could look for another reasoning. We could look for a spot to get in and try to take this up higher if it's kind of showing us that it will. So I'm just going to wait on this one, but this is great news. This could run even more. Like I said, very low float. So that's something that's going to you're going to see a lot of price action very quickly in this one as well, up to the upside and to the downside.
Indeed, and we're actually extended here from the VWAP about $1.80 away from the VWAP. So I'd actually like to see a pullback here before we take some of that, but really good stuff there on SNGX. Really quick here, just taking a look at the short interest, just about 4%, not really a whole lot going on there. Okay, next here on the list is going to be Peggy, and this is one that we should all be familiar with because we've seen this a whole bunch. Pineapple Energy shares trading higher after the company engaged in conduit capital to provide structural internal support, staffing, and assistance with capital raising activities. You get a little bit of a kind of a general newsprint there. This is driving Peggy higher. This actually traded up in the after hours yesterday, popped again here in the pre-market. While we've come back, we actually have some pretty decent volume and multiple tests of the VWAP. Now, we haven't been able to get over that, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'd like to see that, although right now it actually looks like we're making a run towards the VWAP here. So Peggy, a little bit bigger float here at about 7 million. What do you got on this one, 13?
Yeah, they also did a 1 for 15 reverse split last month on the 12th. So that's one of the reasons why they have under 10 million now and not much, 15 times that when they were before the reverse split. The thing about this one is that they did trade down this morning, and it found support from the consolidation from yesterday after hours. And that demand zone there got bought up, and now it's trading back up to, as you just pointed out, the VWAP. We're going to want to see this VWAP get taken out here. And once that does, then I think that would be a good indication that this is going to start to move higher. Now, if that's what also happens, we're going to also want to see VWAP become support then. So if it starts to look a little bit weak, we're going to want to see VWAP come in here and catch that and hold it, or at least prop it up until it starts to go higher again. Now, as far as upside targets go, I would say that the first one would be the 259, 260 level where you made that high from the after hours in the after hours yesterday. So that's the target I'd be going for a trade out of the gate here with this one, if it looks like we're going to break above or hold above VWAP. But for right now, VWAP is a big level to get over. I don't think I'd feel comfortable getting into a trade until we get confirmation that VWAP is going to become support.
Yeah, I'm at the same deal there because I think we could probably trade into VWAP, find some resistance, and come back in. Now, that does kind of set up a potential trade here on a curl, so we'll see if we end up getting that. But really good stuff there on Peggy next year. Okay, next on this list is going to be QURE. This is Unicure. Now, I feel like we've traded this one before, but I can't place it. At least the ticker seems familiar. Unicare shares trading higher after the company announced updated interim data, including up to 24 months of follow-up data from 29 treated patients enrolled in the ongoing U.S. and European phase 1/2 clinical trials of AMT-130 for the treatment of Huntington disease. So we're getting news here on interim data for Huntington disease. That is driving the stock higher here. Stock up 41% here today. We take a look at the daily chart here. This stock has really been trying to find a bottom. Maybe we found it. What say you, 13? What do you got on QURE?
As good as this information is, I'm a little bit concerned that we're not going to go too much higher. We probably could break above that 589 level that we just put in about 15 minutes ago. But the thing is that this has 48 million shares, so it's going to be the largest one on our movers list today. And I think that once we make another high, or if we try to break that high that I just mentioned, that might be the highest we could go today. We might end up slow leaking down with dead cat bounces on the way. That's what I would anticipate for something like this, because we have had a nice move up in the pre-market, and I think we might get another good move up here in a little bit. Whether or not that happens, this is much heavier in the float, and I don't think it's going to be as easily to move around as these other ones will. Still, just look for patterns, look for trade opportunities in this one. I just don't think we're going to just completely blast off like some of these other ones are, where the float's much lower.
Yeah, good stuff there. And frankly, what we'd really like to see on this one, again, same deal here, would really like to pull back here. Ideally, if we could get this down to 490, I actually think that would be a pretty good spot, just below the VWAP in case we overshoot it to the downside, and then a former resistance area that should now be support. So we'll see if we get that here. QURE got a couple of some pretty big movers here this morning. Okay, next here is going to be Zap. We had Bex earlier mentioning here, Zap still nuts. Very well said. Indeed it is. This has had a monster run really since the 13th of June. That really kind of gassed the stock. It was laid dormant for a few days. We popped again, dormant for another week and a half. But recently this thing has been absolutely ramping. I'll say this one I want to be really careful on. I feel like we probably have a pretty big pullback coming here. We'll see if we end up getting, you can see how extended we actually are here on Zap. Didn't see any new news here. So this just looks like it's kind of continuing from yesterday. Yep.
Momentum from yesterday is what I got it pegged at. We've already been trading this one, so you guys already know that it has a 769,000 share float, and they did a 1-for-20 reverse split back in April. What I'm looking at right now is a potential forming of a head and shoulders on 5-minute and intraday time frames. One thing I'm going to be watching for, if you want to try to get a trade here out of this, because I think there might be one left before it starts to go down, there's a demand zone here that was created in the after hours, and it's been providing support twice already today. And I think the next time that it goes down there, it might get a little bit weaker, and you could see some trading as low as the 1050 area. But I do expect that if this is going to give us a head and shoulders pattern, that we'll get one small pop that should take us up to about 1350. I don't think that or maybe even the VWAP. I'm not confident that if we lose a bit of the demand zone when we open, that we're not going to be able to break VWAP. So that's just going to be what I'm anticipating. I could be wrong. This thing could break and go even higher and just continue its momentum that it's been getting for the past few days. But I think because of how much it's been running up, that it will cool off a little bit. And I think we're seeing that cooling off in the form of a bearish pattern here. So that's what I'm going to be watching for today.
Okay. Really good stuff there on Zap. We'll see if we do get that final trade here, if this thing really, really pulls. We did see kind of a nasty pull yesterday, ended up giving us a trade, but it wasn't very easy. It was kind of difficult right out of the open. Today, I think might address it a little bit differently, kind of wait that out, see if it sets up and gives us an easier entry. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Next here I have on the list was GVH. And I apologize because this actually wasn't on my list when I first started here this morning. We did get a PR here recently. Vend Holdings is gearing up for last mile capability in New Zealand. So it looks like we got a PR here regarding its last mile capability. That's popping the stock here. Stock's up 40% here in the pre-market. I'm not sure, not even sure I know what this company does. E-commerce logistics provider integrating cross-border logistics and services from Hong Kong to Australia and New Zealand. That's what the PR that we got here this morning. So on average, stock trades just over 1 million shares. On average trades just under 400,000 shares. Today we're up close to 1.2 million, float here of about 3.5. This one, I'd actually really kind of want to wait this out tactically. I'm not really familiar with this at all. So we want to see how this trades. Here we go. As we're looking at it, it is ripping towards those highs as we rip through VWAP. Did you have anything here prepared on GVH?
No, but this goes back to the discussion we've had previously about logistics companies being an interesting play, especially in emerging markets. You remember that one that we saw that this kind of, I think it was LPM. I forget what it was. We had one of the folks in our chat here that ended up trading it. They got in early. I forget what
LPSN?
No, it was a three-letter stock. Anyway, the
LPA.
LPA. Yeah.
LPA.
So that was another logistics company. These logistics plays that are kind of under the radar that are helping bring, helping with emerging markets. They're interesting, and they're actually getting some pretty good movement. This one in particular looks like that could be within the same theme. So to your point, I'd want to wait and watch to see what happens with this one, because I frankly don't know a whole lot about this company, but the fact that it's got a low float makes it interesting for a momentum trade or a mover trade today.
Yeah, I mean, look at what we just had there, right? We just had that volume spike. It took us through the VWAP, immediately stopped at 130, yanked right back down to the VWAP. So I think we might actually see more of that action here in the regular session. We'll see if GVH sets up for us. Okay, next one here is going to be JNVR. This is Janover, and shout out to our news desk team that got an exclusive story here on Janover this morning. So before we actually dive into the news and how we're going to trade this here today, I really want to show the group how you can use Pro to make money in the case of when we have exclusives. Now, here you go. You can see that this exclusive came out here right at 8 o'clock. We have multiple prints here with different information about this. This was 8 o'clock. We had the PR just came out here at 8:30. So once again, our news desk team on an exclusive deal here, or on an exclusive newsprint here, is able to get that news out to you early. Now you see the big spike and the regression back to the mean here. Now we're kind of using the VWAP as resistance. The key point here is that if you're trading news drops, if you're doing some of this quick day trading that we often do here in this program, this might be something for you, right? You're able to get access to this before the rest of the audience, if you will, is able to get that news. So potential play here. Early bird gets the worm. We'll see if JNVR gives us more trades once the market opens here, but just keep in mind there was already one to be had here. Now, Janover shares are trading higher after the company announced that its AI loan advisor generated over 4,000 deals worth over $25 billion to date in 2024. Also, the company announced that it had facilitated nearly 10 million in funded loans this year. So getting a little bit of a business update with some eye-popping numbers there. What do you have here on JNVR 13?
Yeah, it's got a 5.16 million share float. That news is really interesting to me because I was looking into AI being used for as agents to help people with mortgages, but this is kind of in that same area. They're just loan advisors, so they are on the I guess the broker side. What's interesting to me about this one is some news that it had, an exclusive that Benzinga did earlier this year in April, where they were discussing its, let me just bring this up real quick, Insuratech, and they have licenses in Texas and Florida. Being that I just took a hurricane to the face, that's really interesting because I think insurance premiums could see a rise as a result of more of people needing insurance for their home owner's policy. I'm sorry, for their mortgage policy. So I think that there's multiple facets to this one that are really interesting. But as far as the movement today, I'm just waiting for this one to confirm that it's starting to curl back up. We might have a intermediate bottom right now, but getting back up to an over VWAP is going to be the big challenge for it today. And that's apparent by how it's been rejected twice already, but still hasn't completely broken down. I'd like to see a big violent move through VWAP come next.
Yeah, me too. We'll see. Lion Atlas here saying JNVR too small. Totally get it. But just mentioning on how you can actually take advantage of that. Okay, that's it for some of the big movers here. I guess it's worth noting that Nikola trading up a little bit here today. HLVX looks like this is relatively flat. Remember, this had that really, really bad data yesterday that caused this thing to gap down 89% or whatever it was. So it doesn't look like it's bouncing yet, but maybe keep it on the back burner there in case you get a bounce. Maybe that could be something that you can trade. Okay, let's go ahead and take some tickers from the chat here. The first one that I've seen you guys mention so far should come as no surprise to anybody here. It is Palantir, ticker PLTR. Here we go on Palantir. We are right at a double top level stock. Looks like this wants to rip right here if it's got some of that buying momentum. One thing to keep in mind here, we are right on the border there of overbought. So, Parker's Thinkorswim indicators giving you the W pattern. So I think this is what you're referring to. Pretty clear W right here, Parker. Parker'd like to know what levels you have or what you're looking for here for a potential trade. Robert saying ready to blast PLTR. Absolutely love it. So here we go. Palantir looks like this is on deck here today. If we take a look inside at the pre-market, it's still just kind of about flat. So again, I'm not necessarily going to buy the opening print on this one. I kind of want to see how it trades, but definitely interested in looking at Palantir here.
Yeah, I've got some drawings here on this one. I have 2750 as a pretty important level. Going back to the left, you can see how that was a resistance level previously, especially back on June of 21. So we were trading a little bit higher than that. The highest I think this goes before we start to see some pullback or a bit of corrective action is going to be 29, let's say 2950. So that's as high as I think this goes before we really need to see this cool off. It should start to cool off right now, in my opinion, but we're seeing that it's trading above that 2750. I think that if it starts to close above 2750 on a daily chart, that you're gonna get that 2950 level. But I still think that this needs to cool off. So I don't know how much upside is left in this. I know that some folks are saying it's going to rip. My expectations for this one are a little bit more tempered than that.
Yeah, and you know what? We've actually seen how this can be kind of a tough stock to trade, right? Like it looks like it's going to rip, kind of head fakes, pulls back, maybe go. So really good point. Keep it in mind. I will see. We'll see if this rips. We are right kind of at that inflection point, so it could really kind of go either way here. Okay, any other stocks that you folks want to take a look at? You guys are mentioning AMD. We'll take another look here at AMD and how tech is doing generally. I feel like we look at that every day. You guys are mentioning Peggy real quick here. Tom, yeah, we discussed Peggy earlier. I'm sure we'll take a look at it. We can kind of go back. If you have any specific questions, let me know. I'll go ahead and try and address them here. Let's go ahead and take a look here at AMD. AMD here, this actually looks like this is trying to go a little bit higher as well. I've got the next level here at about 188, current price 177, really not all that bad. Take a look at the pre-market here though, look a little bit weak. So are we going to turn around here? What do you guys think here on AMD? And actually, looking at this, I wouldn't be shocked if it kind of bounced either from right here or maybe even that 177 kind of a round number. Looks like we already did that here in the pre-market. Wouldn't be shocked to see that again.
Yeah, if this doesn't go higher, because it has had some nice movement over the past several days, I'd be looking for support down around 170 before it tries to make another move up.
Okay, real quick here. KeyBank maintained their overweight, but did adjust that price target, lowered it a little bit here to 220. Let me go back real quick here. Analyst ratings. We want to go from today's. Here's the KeyBank. This was 230. So they went from 230 to 220, but they maintained the overweight rating there. To me, that's not a whole lot to get excited about. Probably why the stock's only down 0.5% here in the pre-market. Okay, good stuff there on AMD. Real quick, I had asked you guys for some levels that you're looking at here in Palantir. I appreciate this, Parker. Let me go ahead and bring them up. How are we doing on time here? Just got about 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. All right. Parker here saying I'm in at 2068. I sold 75% at 25, but you're looking for 30. So you're basically looking for this to trade up just a little bit more, just a 2 more points here. That's on the end of your position. So, all right. Anything else that you want to take a look at? Looks like Intel being mentioned by AFM from our Twitter viewers. Welcome, AFM. Want to take a look at Intel here. Intel actually pretty good performance recently as it kind of curled off that $30 low. We are right at the 500-day. I'd actually like to see multiple closing candles above this level before getting excited, but I would imagine if we do that, 39-ish, probably the next stop here on Intel.
Yeah, this one's a little bit extended here, and we just broke over the 500-day SMA upon filling up a gap that was created back on April 25th. So I would want to see the this zone right here that before the drop and gap. I want to see this hold up, and that would also be right where the 500-day is. So I want to see all that hold up, and it could even consolidate, go sideways for a little bit. But I want to see that RSI cool off, so it can gear up for another move. Man, look at QURE go.
And if this holds up, and really quickly, by the way, if that holds up and it kind of trades sideways around that level, you actually could see that RSI come in as well. So that'd be pretty good. Right. Okay, let me flip over to the main thing and we'll take a look. You said QUER or QUR?
Yeah, that we're open, and that one's it blasted off to 643. So now I'm going to wait and see if this one actually comes back in like I anticipate it will. And if it goes higher.
Look at that. It came back in. It started coming back in. We were literally talking about it blasting up, and it came right back in.
Well, we'll see if it's going to hold up or not. But this is the one that had the larger float, so I anticipate that will slow leak throughout the day. And I think there's other ones that we can be looking at for better trades. Peggy, this one's selling off out of the open. Let's see what happens when it gets down to 170, 169.
Okay.
Sorry, did you have something to say?
I just want to flip over to the Trade the Pool broker. Of course, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above that 25K day trading threshold, Trade the Pool is the way to do it. And if you just need some more dry powder, you can do that as well. Okay. I'm taking a look at JNVR here. Maybe this is trying to reclaim $1. I'm going to wait that one out. I'm not in a rush to do that. What's SNGX doing? Curling back up towards the highs.
Looks like Zap is trying to push a little bit. Let's see if it can get through this supply zone here between 1360 and 1450.
Palantir looks like, at least in this opening candle here, we actually pulled down to that pre-market support level right there about 27.75, bounce back up, trying to reclaim 28 here. I know there were a lot of people looking at Palantir here today. Looks like we're about to bust over 28. See if we end up getting that. Did QUR, let's check QURE. Did that sell off slow down and maybe start a curl here?
It's kind of just neutral at the moment.
Yeah, neutral. I would agree with that.
Let's see. JNVR trying to just hold this area, trying to stay above VWAP. Oh, it's getting
here's Peggy going right to that VWAP. We'll see if this gets above it. You said JNVR, correct? 13. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of
rejected at the VWAP.
Mm-hmm. And
SMCI here trading up a little bit. This one yesterday traded right up out of the open. It gave you a few trades maybe later on, but that first trade right out of the open here, SMCI, I think we're going for this 925 area. Sounds about right.
EXFY is ripping. Getting a mention in the chat that it's moving on Kramer mention. So I don't know about up here.
Jim Cramer is on the desk there right now. I can't hear what he's saying, and they don't have anything printed on the screen, so I'm not really sure.
All right. SNGX looking weak out of the gate here. This one's make sure I got the right one here. Yeah, this is the one that had the 986,000 share float.
Yep.
EXFY, that's taken off. Let's see, QURE, that's still coming in a bit.
SGNX, maybe if this comes back in, 548 is what I've got the VWAP at. If that comes back in towards that level, you might get a potential bounce play there. That JNVR looks like that did take out the, oh no, It reclaimed one here, found some resistance at that VWAP and came back in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
SXTP, Tom. Penny stock here. Tom playing the penny market. Caesar, you're looking at ARM. How's that doing here today?
looks like SNGX is trying to go.
What?
SNGX.
SNGX. Indeed.
It's trying to push right now. Look for a break of 740. Peggy, I think this one probably going down to 170. I'll see what happens when it gets down there. Bitcoin looks like that's trying to push off of the 57,000 level. Got to make its way through several more $100 of consolidation here. But this has been getting beaten up.
Yeah, it has. Bitcoin had a rough weekend.
Mm-hmm.
GLW, take a look at this. Corning continued. This one we talked about yesterday as a potential swing. Didn't take this one. Awesome stuff here, though, on Corning. This going a little bit higher. We actually had some levels that I think we talked about on Corning yesterday on Happy Hour. Let me pull up that chart here and see if we can. No, we talked about several levels on this stock. Yeah, we busted right above the 43.50. That was one of the levels we talked about yesterday. This, to me, looks like it's going to 47. Right here from 44.
Jonathan, I'll take a look at LGVN for you. He's saying it's got a high short interest. It does have a high short interest, but I believe that's due to the reverse stock split that they did, a 1-for-10 on March 27th, because the days to cover is just one now because of how much smaller the float is. So, and that's, that's now on its based on its average day volume, which is, it's a 8.5 million, and it's got a 7.7 million float. So 1 day to cover because of the average volume it can put in there on a day. But this thing is moving right now, as you pointed out. So I'm not sure that this is necessarily a squeeze. It could be a little bit, but it's also, I think, on low volume. I don't know what it's moving on. I don't think it's moving on really anything. Don't see any.
It's done that before, so that would not be a new thing for this particular stock. Zap here still struggling with that VWAP. Looks like it kind of dipped right out of the open here. Still struggling though. GLW continuing above 44 here.
QURE now under VWAP. It found support at the 545 level. Looking for it to see if it can recapture VWAP. Remember, this is the larger float one that I'm not too sure it's going to be able to go higher. It might just slow leak today. So let's see if this one is going to continue to slow leak or if I'm going to get proven wrong here.
This clean bounce here off that 546. Clean bounce here.
And
SMCI. So you're asking Jay Harris, Ryan, do you believe it's going to pop back up? I'm in calls on SMCI. Well, for one, I don't really think it matters what I believe. But given what we saw here yesterday, yeah, I mean, this easily has the means to do that here. The NASDAQ opened higher here, although it's just kind of pulling off the highs. If this makes any attempt to go back towards those highs, I would imagine some of these other stocks kind of move with it. Yeah, I could easily see this pop. I don't know that it's going to do that. I mean, this is just what a pull. We're right pretty much at VWAP on SMCI. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, LGVN is on a tear right now.
Let's see what's going on.
This, I mean, if this keeps going, it could end up hitting. Let me just look here. I had a daily level here. Possibly up into over 350. This could go. This is breaking out over a particular EMA on the daily, the 65. Shout out to Andy. So this looks like it could try to push up to over the 3 handle. But just watch and see what happens. This one's moving around quite a bit.
Robert, I'm sorry about that. I am delivering your feedback to the team here. I know that they've been making some adjustments there. As far as your question, if you pay to join I think so, but I'm not sure. Again, keep the feedback coming. I will keep delivering it to the team.
Zap is
Zap.
trying to, it's trying to push over this consolidation here from the pre-market.
Here we go. Weena from the list here this morning, maybe off the bottom. Here's Reddit popping to the highs.
QURE still making lower prints, but getting some support. Still not sure about this one. Can't reclaim VWAP yet. LGVN, we're still pushing here.
That QUER bounce was short-lived there as it continues to come back in.
Yep. Zap still moving. This one looks like it's trying to take out 1420.
Palantir, nice little push up.
There it goes. LGVN might need some time to go higher. JNBR finding support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. See if that holds.
That really kind of broke down here.
Yeah, still couldn't get above that VWAP. That VWAP was the big problem for it. It continues to be. So breakout of VWAP would be good for JNBR. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Dow moving lower here. Dow at the lows. NASDAQ came in off the highs. Same with SPY, although those don't seem to be breaking down yet.
All right. So it looks like SNGX is trying to still hang out up here, but we have VWAP pressure coming down on it. So not sure we're going to see a whole lot of upside here unless we get the volume to increase and help push it back up over VWAP.
NVIDIA here pushing off the VWAP line, saying NVIDIA keeps going. Let's go. Zap is halted, Jeff.
Halted the downside.
Halted to the downside. As we saw this yesterday. Look at that. See, we were able to learn the lesson from yesterday and avoid it here today. You love to see that.
QURE trying to push up over VWAP now, as I was just mentioning it needs to do. It's getting that strength.
Bounce off VWAP, man.
It's still got some time left in order to close above VWAP, so it needs to be able to hold above that. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart for that, by the way.
Peggy going through the VWAP here. Nice call there, Tuna. Good to see you this morning.
Oh, Bitcoin with a massive knife. Yeah, Nike, I saw that was bouncing. This is much more along the lines of what I'm looking for in terms of the price action. We wanted to see, because I had mentioned last week that this looked like it was going to end up going lower.
Yeah, you did.
Because it was kind of forming a bit of a bearish pattern there. So now we are a bit lower. I think we got as low as, 73 or maybe even lower than that.
Yeah, it looks like the low print here from yesterday was exactly 73.
Okay, so that could be a better it could be a better buy now, especially down in this area. Still expect it to maybe even go a little bit lower, but I think this is pretty overdone here, and I'd be looking to maybe start building a position if you're in this for the long term. Yeah, cost is up. That's crazy.
Nike, I think one of the levels that we had here, 65 for a potential spot. We had a discussion about this yesterday. Is continues to try and find the bottom here.
Yeah, Yvonne, I agree. It still looks like there's maybe more downside, but the fact that the RSI is still hanging around the 20 area looks like it's trying to get some strength. I think maybe it was under 20 yesterday. I'm not 100% sure, but because I was dealing with a hurricane. But it looks like this doesn't look like it has too much downside left, but still potential for more downside. All right.
Gene Hull, I'm going to read this. I haven't fact checked it, but I'm going to read it. In 30 years, SPY has never been below one standard deviation from the mean, but we have crossed one standard deviation on resistance 2 times, January of 2022 and now. Currently 1.8 standard deviations from the mean. Way overbought or a new level investment from who? I'm going to stick with overbought. If those stats are correct, that's a pretty good sample size. I'm going to go with overbought. 13, I'm sorry about that.
No worries. I feel like this has been overbought for some time. I do want this market to continue moving up, but it can't do that absent a pullback or some kind of correction. So I've band looking for the market to correct for some time now. It hasn't.
Me too.
I think it's getting into unhealthy territory levels of highs. So it just makes the forthcoming drop all the more dire. I think it's going to be a harder drop than we would normally get the longer we continue to make these new highs. So to your point, I think that we do need to correct. We do need to come back in, and as we continue to move up, it gets me just a little bit more nervous each and every time.
SMCI, Jay saying there she goes. Looks like that little opening move. We kind of pulled back a little bit. Bang, new highs here on the day. SMCI. Where do you guys think this is going to finish at today?
Let's take a look. Well, I don't know about today, but it has been getting pretty consistently rejected. If you could draw a trend line to see where this rejection continues to happen. If you draw a trend line that goes
here, let me get a bigger chart here real quick. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like the start at the June 20th high, and then just kind of draw it across the highs from May and from May, and just keep on going. You can see that it was a previous support level until April when it broke down and has been a resistance level since then. No, you need to drop backwards.
So you're just talking about this.
Yeah, and you go keep on going. Like it's going to be days. Like yeah, there you go. Keep on going. Keep on drawing all the way through. Boom. So previously support, turned resistance, been resistance ever since. That's where I think that the price is going to end up going up to. I don't know about today, but going up to that's going to looks like it's going to try to test that area for another break. That's where that's what I'd be looking at.
Here you go. We've got that area with given a couple of days. That area is going to put us at about 1050 to 1060 somewhere in there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to break out of that or not, but that's if I was going to do a trade, that could be a good level to take profit if you're unsure.
Okay.
Or if you're not confident that it will break out. That's what I'd be looking at.
Caesar here saying looks like it's going to test the 1020 area soon on SMCI. Well, given what 13 showing you here, that is right in line. Looks like that's coming here. Caesar, let me know how you're trading. Are you long on that? Tony saying this is going to 1025 EOD. That would be something. That would be a big rip here. That would be the trade of the day, without a doubt. Ends up doing that here. SMCI, let's see if we come back down here to VWAP. Might actually pick this up for the rest of the day. Sorry, 13, go ahead.
So LGVN, it's kind of holding VWAP pretty well up here, but the volume seems to have really drained. So be careful with this one if you're still trading it. It does have a great pattern, so there is potential for this to go higher, but we need to see more volume on that in order to break through 720 or even stay above VWAP. EXFY, this thing is also kind of putting in a bit of a bear flag, but it's not. I'm not a bull flag, but doesn't look as good. It's also now beneath VWAP. I'm not sure about that one. ZAP lower, trying to recover. SNGX.
Arlo, Beck's mentioning Arlo here. What happened on this one? This kind of spiked out of the. Do we have news on this? I'm looking it up. Sorry, I'm just kind of talking out loud here.
Yeah, they have 4 million paid subscription accounts.
Yep. There you go. So you got that PR here at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of a delayed reaction here on Arlo. At this point, I think it's kind of run. I would imagine we'd want this to come back in a little bit. Cost patent news getting mentioned here in the chat. Good job, guys. Cost trading up here is taking another leg up here right off that $10 spot. That one here, let me pull up and give you some more information on that one real quick. Cost granted patent, personal acoustic system and flexible earpiece mounts for the same. I guess that sounds cool on the surface. This stock still, as of the end of June, 8% of the float shorted and only a day to cover. Not a whole lot there. Something, but not a whole lot there. Float here, 5 million, and we're about more than halfway through the average volume of the day here today. This is in play for sure.
Yeah, and it's breaking over this consolidation from yesterday afternoon. That's the big zone it had to get through. It's pushing through that now, and then we're going to get into the pre-market of yesterday as well, which we'll probably end up seeing a lot of shares trade in that area too. Look for resistance from that area. We could even see it come back in a little bit, but if we continue to get support after it gets rejected in that area, then we could end up pushing through it later on today.
All right, sorry about that.
No worries, no worries.
Fire department's here. I was like, what the heck's going on outside? Say again?
Oh Lord Jesus, there's a fire.
No, it's someone probably just I don't know what's going on. Anyway, real quick, Webcoin saying cost, be careful they don't dump into this news. We've seen this with cost before. We've seen this kind of be volatile here. So really good stuff there. LGVN trying to go here, you were mentioning. I like this, Caesar, long NVIDIA and AMD. I'm hedging NVIDIA with 124 puts and shorting ARM as a hedge to AMD. Okay, I'd like to know the why behind that thought there, but it looks like you got a pretty well-defined trade plan there. Cost through 11 here, folks.
Yeah, and who mentioned the selling in costs?
Webcoin mentioned that they can dump because they've seen this before.
Yeah. That's the thing I'm pointing out with these supply zones. All those people that are holding the bag now that got into that consolidation and are now under their trade, they're going to want to get out or try to make a little bit of profit there. So that's the supply zone I'm talking about, where you're going to see the dumping happen, and that's where you get a bit of resistance because the selling pressure starts to ramp up. But once you've eaten through all those bag holders, then the only thing that's next is the next set of bag holders, which is up in the 12s. So once we get through what we're chewing through right now, which was the pre-market region here from just when pre-market opened until about 1250. 1250 is where you're going to start to see that another whole set of supply come into play, and sellers will try to get out of this one if it gets up there.
Look at SNGX. This is going to be halted to the upside here, 732. If it holds right here, nope, it didn't. They actually kept going. We are above the premium. That happens so fast. Robert, great job being on it. Robert saying this is trying here. This really curled off the VWAP. Bang. For any of you that were trading this one, Rick here is saying patience is premium. For any of you nailing SNGX here, great job. Say again.
It's halted now.
There we go. What is that halt price there? 755 the halt here. SNGX. Ring the register. Gil, good morning. It's great to see you. Good morning, team. Good morning to you. Hope all is well with the trade, the pool team. Nice to see you here this morning. Great job on SNGX. That literally happened as we were looking at it. Nice job, Robert, selling that into the halt, too. I think you just had a typo here. Good stuff, though, folks. This is it. It's halted, so I don't want to do it right now, but I'll queue up the drop for the next time we have something really move like that. That was a perfect opportunity.
EXFY that we were it was brought up by the chat earlier. This one looks like it's trying to turn around. It's trying to find a bottom. So look to see if this 185 area holds up. There's a bit of support in the 187 level. There's a bunch of buy orders. So as long as somebody doesn't come in and take that out with selling, we could still see this trade up to at least VWAP, which is at 205.
Speaking of turnarounds, Jay here mentioning one of the best turnarounds for 2024 got to be Jumia here. Indeed. And actually, let's see if we back off this chart here. Look at this. In January of this year, stock was in a 2 handle. Here we are just above 10. Big run here for Jumia. This is the Amazon of Africa, right? Am I getting that right? Let me make sure before I misspeak here by accident. Let me just check here real quick. Yes, the Pan-African e-commerce platform. That is the more professional way to say it. I got to remember that. Pan-African e-commerce platform here. I believe this was a Citron long too, like they're holding it long for a longer term trade, if I recall correctly. I wonder if they're still in that. In any case here, indeed, this has been a really good turnaround here for Jumia.
LGVN went down pretty quickly to VWAP and found support. Looking to see if this ends up losing that. EXFY, still waiting to see if this one curls up and tries to go back up to VWAP. That might take a little bit of time. QRE under VWAP. Cost
JNVR under VWAP.
cost ripping. It's taking out this
Man.
it's taking out that supply, and it's gonna probably end up making its way up to 1250 if it can continue to do this. All right, so what's going on with LGVN? LGVN got the VWAP support. Let's see if it can go higher. Remember, low float in this one, so it could knife.
Peggy trying to curl here. Maybe back to the VWAP on Peggy. Volume less than impressive here.
Mm-hmm.
That GLW swing from Jay yesterday keeps rocking.
Yeah.
Boom, cash register ring on that one for anyone that took that. GRFS, this was from yesterday. Not doing a whole lot of anything here. ANVS, where's DJAF? ANVS here from yesterday. This had a great day yesterday. Looks like it's setting up again here. Eagle-eyeing Peggy. So what do you think, Carmen? It looks like it's trying to curl here. Go back to that VWAP. What say you on this one? What says the Carmen Eagle Eye?
If the play is just a VWAP, that's only 7 cents. You'd have to get a pretty good amount of shares in there to make that really worth it. But if it looks like it could come up and try to take it out, now that'd be the bigger move I'd be looking for.
Well, see, that's the thing. You'd probably book some of those gains right at the VWAP, right, and then let the trailer, if it goes through it.
Okay. Now here we go with EXFY. This is starting to turn around. This is the one I wanted to see come up to VWAP. Don't know if it's going to break through it or not. Volume's still a little bit low, but if it does, I'd say 225 is on the docket. It's trying to turn around right now. And what else? LGBN still trying to push up higher.
This EXFY, we'll see if this changes here. The volume is like it's trying, but it's trying to build here, but it's getting sold into.
Mm-hmm. And it could be one of those moves that just happens real quick, and we just are too slow to get a trade in. But it's still looking like it wants to at least try for VWAP.
Dell here moving up off that 50-day moving average. Dell might be trying to go to the 162. That's another $12 from where we're at here on Dell. SNGX is open.
Zap trying to push here.
Look at the pull on SNGX. This might end up going higher.
Oh, it's whipping around, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Zap pushing. Trying to get past 13 right now.
Right at the VWAP on Zap.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the last time it was here, it did go through the VWAP, but it was very, very short-lived. We'll see if we get the same type of action. Nice job on that, Rick. I like that you used a trailing stop too, right? Have that do some of the work here for you. You're going to get a register ring for that and a 1-up for the strategy. Way to go. Zap here again, trying to go through that VWAP. There we go. Here we go on Zap. How high is this going to move through the VWAP before it pulls back?
I think it might go to 14. There's a lot of consolidation there, and that's where it was reacted earlier this morning. But if the volume expands enough, then we could end up going higher. But I think 14 is about the best you could hope for upside at the moment.
Okay.
All right, LGVN.
SNGX still kind of back and forth in here. LGVN, what are you seeing here, 13?
I'm just trying to figure out if this is going to roll over or if we're going to end up going higher on an EMA crossing VWAP. Just can't really tell at the moment. QURE, that sold a little bit, but it's still getting a bit of volume to a bit of buying volume actually. Still, this is another one that's being pressured by VWAP as well. They're all kind of in that situation at the moment, trying to get over VWAP. We just saw EXFY. No, I'm sorry, not that one. I'm sorry. Let me figure out which one it was. Zap. We just saw that one push over VWAP. That one still needs to get through the consolidation that I was just mentioning before it gets up to.
Look at that. We popped through that VWAP and pulled right back to it, just like last time.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
DJF. I was just asking about you on ANVS. First stop here today is going to be, looks, we are already there. Yesterday's intraday high here at 717. Looks like we're trying to break it here on ANVS.
So costs blasted up to 1267, right into that consolidation from after hours, and a little bit of pre-market from yesterday. This is another area here where there's going to be a lot of sellers because they don't want to hold the stock anymore up in this area. So you're going to see a lot of selling at 12, it looks like. And what else?
LGVN's trying to go for its highs here. It's got some size at 285 that it's got to break here. High, intraday high here, 287. We'll see if this is going to try and go here.
LGVN.
I'd rather add this here at the VWAP. I don't necessarily want to trade this range a day break or this high a day break here.
Yeah, I got a 35,000 share series of sell orders right there at 285. We're going to need to see more volume to get through that.
Volume on the back side of the volume pop here, but that can turn around. We'll see if we end up taking this out.
Yeah, just watch it. Watch time and sales. See if there's enough of those orders come in to take this out. So far, it doesn't look like it.
And just in a blink of an eye. See, that's what can happen right there. So, and that's one of the reasons why kind of trading some of these breaks a little bit more difficult, right? You almost got to be positioned ahead of that. You almost got to take a risk ahead of that here, and then kind of sell into the move. Now, unfortunately, after we took out that big black stock, we really didn't keep moving here. That's the type of action I would want to see here. Kind of glad I didn't take that trade, at least so far.
And this is, if you were into this is where I'd start to sell, because if we're not getting that volume that's helping us push up higher, then we're going to create a result in more of these upper shadows like we're seeing, and we're going to start to reverse.
And here it is. Here it comes. So
Duke been great. I love Duke. What's that? What are they doing?
Duke Energy, ticker DUK.
Yep.
This right here at the 50, this actually looks like a potential swing long here. Let's take a look at this real quick. Let's go to the chart tool and give you a bigger chart here. Here is Duke. By the way, SMCI continuing its move here, 925. So here's the Duke chart that we're talking about. This reclaim of the 50-day moving average probably puts these 105 and a half highs in play here.
Yeah, this is
by the way, I'm looking at CNBC here. I do see the room getting set up for Powell's testimony here. Curious to know what any of you folks think about what we're supposed to get here with Powell today.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be, investors and traders are just going to be looking to see how hawkish or dovish he sounds. I don't know that he's necessarily going to reveal any new information that we don't already know. But I think his tone is going to be the thing that's going to be listened for the most. That's just what I'm going to be listening for anyway. I don't know what else he could reveal that we don't already know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Tone. We're listening to people's tones now to determine their hawkish or their dovishness.
Gotta read between the lines. Look at Bitcoin finding a bottom down at 57 or just under 57,000. Now kind of turning around. Watch for the Bitcoin names to start getting some strength.
How are we doing with some of those names here? By the way, let me roll through a couple of them here. Mara's lower, although it's turning around here. Riot probably looks the same. Indeed. All of these lower. You're right though, 13. This actually might provide an opportunity if this really kind of turns around. CLSK. I'm sorry. That's CLS. Wrong ticker here. Yep. All of these are the same. All of these charts look similar. You have opportunities in almost any one of these.
Zap halted again to the downside.
I'm glad I didn't trade this one today. Learned our lesson yesterday.
Yeah, some of these just aren't looking too well. I mean, SMGX, that one continuing to push a little bit higher.
ACHR here pulling back a little bit after yesterday's move. And yesterday just kind of hung in there.
QURE pretty much doing the slow leak, trying to reclaim VWAP. If it does, that might change the outlook here in the short term. But the volume is just, I think it's a little bit too light for what it needs in order to go higher. I could be wrong, but I think this is going to continue to trade down over time.
NVIDIA continuing to move up here. Parker's Thinkorswim said you were looking for a move from 122 to 135. Boy, you might get that here. 133 right now here on NVIDIA. By the way, how's Chipotle doing? Chipotle, okay, we are under 60 here on Chipotle. I'm going to bring that up on a bigger chart here because I think that we should start figuring out levels for a Chipotle swing long.
Well, I wouldn't put that synopsis past you.
Is this the synopsis? Powell is going to say everything is great, vote Biden, and keep sending your money to Ukraine and Israel.
I think that's.
Powell does he tries not to be political, so I don't think you're going to hear just that.
Right, but that's what we're going to listen for in the tone.
Yeah, no, that's the stuff that you're trying to read between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Chipotle here real quick. Let me bring up the bigger chart here for Chipotle. We were wondering to see if this is going to hold here at the 100-day. We didn't. We closed beneath the 100-day. Today, we actually popped above it, and we've already moved beneath it. Let's see what happens here when we close. I got no problem being a little bit patient here. If we continue to come in a little bit, and then maybe we reclaim that 100-day, which is that teal line that we're kind of at right now, maybe a alongside trade there. If this continues to sell off, I actually think we're going to be in pretty good shape here. That's going to put the RSI perhaps in oversold territory, which could even make this a little bit better. We'll see here on CMG. This one's still on my watch list for a potential swing.
Now, one thing that is going to be interesting to hear and see later this week is if what Powell's comments, what he says today, match up with what the CPI and the earnings reports that we're going to be getting later on this week are going to show us. So if he says one thing and they show us something else, that could be a big problem for the market. So I think that's one of the so basically Powell's going to set us up. He's going to butter us up for something, and if we get toast, then great. If not, then it could be something more dire. I can't exactly speak on what's going to happen. Looks like cost is trying to push higher, by the way. But I think the expectation is going to be set with Powell, and then we're going to get the results with CPI and Friday's earnings. So I'd be watching for that.
Okay.
EXFY has not been able to turn around yet. Still isn't in super sell mode either. Just kind of slow leaking. JNBR still under VWAP. ZAP still suspended. Peggy hasn't been able to take out VWAP yet. Looks like COS is the most interesting one. COS, SNGX. I don't know about LGVN. It might, but I don't like the way the price action's been over the past half hour. Looks like it's kind of curling over, ready to go lower.
TGTX here knocking on the door at 20. See if we get that ZAP halted to the downside. Still, is this still that initial other?
No. It's the second time I believe.
Okay.
The first one is that first big red candle, and then we traded a little bit for 15 minutes, and then lower again.
This is the second halt of the day. Yep.
Yeah. So I think this is going under 11 as soon as we unhalt here. That's what I would expect. Okay.
JMIA continuing to move here. SNGX above 8. Longeveron, so it did break that. So Longeveron did break that area there. Let's see if it breaks the day highs. We're right here, 290.
Looking, I think it's going to hit 3. As long as it can get past these 15,000 shares that are being sold, I think three's next. There we go.
Okay, we'll see if Longeveron can do it. Let's see if we get 3 now. Now there's some size there at 3, isn't there?
Right. I'm not saying it's going to break through. I'm not going to 3 because I don't know we have enough volume to break through 14 again. Maybe we do, and it goes higher. That's certainly a possibility. Here we go. We're at 3 rounds. Yeah. Doorstep there.
Yeah. They brought in a bid volume beneath it. Here we go. Let's see if this goes here on LGVN. There it is, and through. Okay.
All right, but now it's coming back in.
Well,
that's why 3 was a good area to sell.
And it's okay. It's okay for you to tell. Oh, sorry, I have the wrong screen up here. It's okay to take your gains on that. You can do that. You can do that real small. And we got a bunch of stuff moving here. It's not just this.
ZAP is open.
EXFY maybe curling here. Let's check in on ZAP.
Went to 1150 and got volume to come in and buy it up.
Now, the last 2 times Zap was down here, it did bounce from this level.
Actually, this has been the level it's been bouncing off of all morning.
Yeah.
Look at the pre-market.
Keep that in mind.
It just continues to look weaker and weaker every time it bounces. It's just not holding up the higher levels. I think if this gets rejected at VWAP, then you might see it go under. It'll go under 12, I think. But I'm still looking for it to go under 11. Might not happen, but let's see what happens with VWAP first.
QURE looks like this is trying to go a little higher here. QURE.
Yeah, that one.
Carmen asking, when does Powell speak? It is testimony, and that had just started here. At least it was on the screen. So that's going on currently, Carmen.
Which could explain a bit of the reason for the market pull.
Yeah, the only breaking news headline that's come out of this so far: decisions made meeting by meeting. We already knew that. Labor market conditions have cooled while remaining strong.
Yeah.
13 so far. Your prediction about this, about no new information, looks to be like that's the case.
Costs still trying to push higher. It just put 1289 as the high.
Man.
About 5 minutes ago.
This was the trade of the day here so far. How's some of the other SMCI? This was kind of a slower grind. Nvidia, this grinded higher. Parker, I know you're doing well here on this one, but that was probably the trade of the day right there.
QURE, that looks like it could move. It's just the volume needs to be better than this. 643 is the upside target I have for the intraday session here. Let's see. QURE. Well, this one's over VWAP now, so it might be coming back. This one was the one I was saying is the float's a little bit too big. It might slow leak. So far, it's curling. So it this needs to get back above 6, and then it could completely change the outlook.
Zap was trying to bounce here, but kind of slowed down. Spread pretty good.
Bitcoin's still trying to move up.
I mentioned Uber. Is that anything here today? Uber popped and then kind of rolled back over.
LGVN got to 310. Now it's coming back in. Uber robos. Is there news with Uber?
I don't think I've even checked on Tesla here today. Oh, shame on me. Tesla move, just an impulse move out of the gate. Couple of pulls to VWAP that resulted in bounces. Lion, you're saying it's time to start buying some SQQQ. Okay, so it looks like you're thinking it's time to buy some of the Qs short here. So what changed? What changed? What made you say now as opposed to 2 weeks ago when we were still kind of overbought here? SQQQ, by the way, this thing, $7 here. I almost think this thing needs a reverse split. It'll trade a little bit better if it does that. AMD back to the VWAP. Let's see if it gets rejected here. Sorry, 13. Didn't mean to run you over there.
Tesla with a daily RSI of 86. So at the very least, Tesla should be due for a pullback.
Tesla ripping here through those highs as we speak on Tesla.
Well,
don't buy that SQQQ. Easy Mike, what's your way of shorting tech, or are you not even thinking about shorting tech here? What goes into that comment there? I agree with you. I'm not really interested in it. I wish it was reverse split, frankly. And the short hasn't worked. SNGX getting mentioned by Tuna. Tuna, hope you're doing well.
Yeah, trying to push higher here in SNGX. Volatility.
Okay. So you're looking at the VIX. Where's VIX? Sub 14. So you're basically saying until we start getting some volatility, you're okay not hitting the dead bottom as long as you are confident that the volatility is here and may stick around. That's what it sounds like.
Bitcoin is ripping right now.
57.9 on the future has been straight up since, what time is this? 9 o'clock. That's over the past 12 minutes. That's not that long. Smoke Tuna says, doing well in the southwest of France. Okay. Enjoying the summer,
right.
a bit of market time. Okay, Tuna. Good to hear, man.
Yeah,
Good
enjoy
to
yourself.
hear.
You live your best life there, brother.
Smoke Tuna lives his best life every day. We know that already.
Lots of things slowing down, selling off. Look at LGBN now.
See anything alarming coming out of this? I'm going to roll through some of these bigger stocks here and take a look. I'm kind of looking around for news and movement here. Maybe I should just look at some charts here. Apple at the highs here. Wow, 230.
Bitcoin. Holy crap. Sorry for the
I'll get it on a different chart. I can't bring it up and trade the pool, and all we're doing is talking about Bitcoin. So we'll move to a different chart now. Here you go.
Yeah, all that price action it had this morning, just everything just taken out with this one big move. Crazy. I almost have said something.
Chart. Here we go. Here's your Bitcoin. Here's your Bitcoin 1 minute chart. I'm actually going to throw it on the daily.
Well, it's through 58 now.
Yeah, it is. Let's see if we can reclaim that 60K level. That should be a fairly popular level there. Apple through 229 now. Apple continuing to move here, up 0.5%. I guess this sold off right out of the open and immediately reversed red-green move here on Apple. Weena, this was from the list. This continues to move lower.
Let me see here. It's only Microsoft's not up today. And
Core's having a rough day, by the way. Sydney, I know you mentioned Core. I can't. Oh, no. See? I don't understand this. Yeah, Core's. See. Gil, are you still out there?
BlackRock decided to buy BTC. Jonathan Cooper, that's a joke. That's a good one. But if you're serious, that's also humorous. Looks like Nvidia is trying to get over 140. Like it wants to go for that high that it made, which was 140 and 76 cents. But here's the thing. I mean, and it could too, because the RSI is only 64.5 on that one. Meanwhile, you have Tesla in the 80s. You have Apple. What's Apple?
Is 13 breaking up for anyone else, or is that just me? Yeah, really bad.
Sorry.
But I got to make sure that might be my internet. Is that?
It's yours. I can hear him fine.
Okay.
It's my internet?
Uh-huh.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Apple with the
not
70s.
For me. Yep. No, that is definitely, boy, my internet connection is unstable. Okay, do what I can.
Yeah, Apple with the RSI of 76. I mean, and here's the other thing. You have all these the Mag 7 with these really high RSIs, and they're just kind of blasting through them. Meanwhile, the rest of the S&P 500 is down. Like 60% of the S&P 500 is down.
Sorry, I can't even understand you, 13. Do I sound okay?
You sound fine. Maybe, I mean, you have a wired headset, so I don't think it's anything wireless.
It's not that. It is clearly internet traffic. I mean, that's wild. All right, I'll do the best I can.
Bitcoin names with some pretty big moves.
Sava is a nice move off 10 here.
Jonathan Cooper mentioning CJET. CJET.
Here, I'm going to try leaving this. I can't continue. BRB.
Okay. Hey, everybody. All right, so yeah, CJET, that one's moving, breaking through. Let's see, we have VWAP crossing a 200 EMA on the 5-minute. So that's a nice bullish indicator, but I don't know how high this goes because I haven't. Okay, we're actually coming up right up to consolidation from yesterday. So, and there's the sell. Okay, well, that's the consolidation that this stock needs to chew through in order to go higher. And if it does, then the next levels would be up in the 10 area. So got to get through yesterday's consolidation, which is between the high that we just made and, well, let's call it $9.10. $9.10. Call it that. All right, what else is moving here? It looks like GLW is trying to come back up and retake VWAP. Volume doesn't look too great, but watch for that to happen if you're trading this. EXFY looks like that one's trying to find a bottom as well. QURE couldn't take out VWAP, fell back beneath it, now going sideways. JNVR, let's not even talk about this one. This one just keeps going lower and lower, and it's back to start. And they do not collect $200. SNGX, this one looks like it's setting up to break out and go higher. Can't exactly say when that's going to happen, but if the volume can start to expand without going any lower than $7, then we might see it break this 880 intraday high that it made. Yes, Powell's on now. IVP, Kingdom Lamb. Sorry, I missed it. Let me take a look at this. Okay. And what is this moving on?
Yeah, sorry.
No worries.
Man.
Any difference?
No.
Okay. If you want, we can work on it after you're done.
With trouble here because I'm going to have to host the thing with Anne Marie as well.
Yeah, I mean, did you try unplugging your headset and plugging it back in? So what's with this? What's with this IVP, Inspire Veterinary Partners? Is this is this kind of off of Chewy? Because this looks like it's a relative volume move. Yesterday it had a big move, a lot of volume. What was this? 54 million shares, almost 55 million shares traded yesterday, and it's got a relative volume of 1.8 million. So yeah, this would be a relative volume move. And if let's see, who was pointing this one out? Kingdom Lamb, great job. Anybody else that was talking this too? Jay's Life asking, which stock would I suggest that would go up with Bitcoin? Well, there's several that will move with Bitcoin, but I'm not going to suggest anything. My personal favorite is CLSK. I like that one.
Yeah, 13. The only thing I can do here is reset my internet router. That's going to take me. That's going to take time. I'm the only one screen sharing. I don't know what to do. So you guys let me know what you want to do here. I'll give it a shot. I cannot even barely understand a word you're saying. So I got all types of lag. I'm surprised you guys can hear me. I don't know what else to do.
Well, seeing as how there's very little in the way of movement in some of these names, and there's not a whole lot of opportunities I'm seeing for that many trades. I'm sure there's some, but I'm kind of getting to them a little bit late. I'd be okay with taking a bit of an early day and see if we could get you fixed so that folks.
No, I mean I know we've got stuff. I'm sorry guys, I don't know what to say here. I can't hear him. You're asking me to watch a delayed stream on a different device and then have a conversation with. I don't think that's feasible. I don't think that's feasible. Alyssa, are you in the back?
Yes.
Can you by chance share something on the screen while I'm gone, or somebody, so
Yes.
I can try and restart this?
I can do it.
Tom, it's not on my end.
Yeah, it's clearly me. So I will do what I can here and try and restart this. I know we've got another show. I've got this is the worst day for this to happen.
LGVN trying to push higher, running into some resistance with the sell orders at 305. Then you have 310 next. Yeah, have you tried just using speakers, or is that going to create feedback?
I do have, I'm reading the chat here. I do have external speakers. It's the same. It's not the headset. It is not the headset at all. Okay. I am going to restart the internet, but I'm the only one sharing. So I'm trying to get something else up on the screen here so I can go do that. Okay. BRB.
All right, guys. So here I am. We have LGVN trying to break out of this 310 level here. It's got about 25,000 shares in order to chew through and get above that. Let's see if we get that. Otherwise, this is where we'd want to exit. What else we got here? EXFY. That is just looking like it is not going to get any higher than what we got today. Maybe it comes back later. We've seen that happen plenty of times. Can't say for sure if that's what's going to happen, but I think the play right now would be to watch and see what LGBN does. So it looks like it's not able to get above 310 at the moment. Let's wait for that expanding volume. Cost coming back in. SNGX a little bit sideways, looking for support at about 750, I would say, in order to continue going higher, but it's looking a bit weak at the moment. ZAP. What you got for us, Alyssa?
I'm just trying to work with this layout. It kept putting me behind it. I'm like, okay, all right, I guess that's okay. I have no video up right now.
VVPR ripping, says Gerald. Let me take a look at, oops, oh crap, what I do. There we go. VVPR. What do we have here with this one? Any news? Trading higher, the company announced electric vehicle subsidiary Tembo has agreed to a 1-month extension of its exclusive heads of agreement with Cactus Acquisition Corp. All right. So it's moving on that. Doesn't look like it's moving a whole lot now. It looks like we are seeing this volumes dry up here in this one. What do you have going on? Oh, no volume. I agree. LGVN wants to break. Yeah, it looked like it was trying to do that and it didn't. So there it goes. Now it's higher at 315. Looks like it could end up going even higher than this. The volume's still pretty good. It's about the same amount of volume we've been getting on these upward movements. So let's see. I mentioned Sava Lynn Williams, SAVA. Oops. Got fingered a whole bunch of letters there. Yeah, this one's also moving up here. Let's see where this one ends up going. Looks like this one could go as high as somewhere in 11 to 12 handle. I'd say between 1150 and 12 is where you might find the resistance in Sava. There's a significant amount of supply there. So we'll see if what happens if it gets up there. The volume's starting to disappear after this big breakout move that it had. Let's see here. IVP grinding. Well, it's trying to get higher than this move that it had just about 10 minutes ago at $3, and the high was 52 cents. But let's see. Right now, it's going to need to hold support in order for, in my opinion, to go higher. CJET has been suspended to the downside. IVP getting support from BWAP. Let's see if this one turns around.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Do I sound better now?
Totally resolved.
Okay.
Totally resolved. Thanks, Comcast. Thanks. You're an awesome company.
And there it is. IVP. Great call.
Let's set up here and see what I missed.
New high in IVP, 355. Still looks like it could push even higher, and it is. Looks like $4 might be the big area of resistance if this continues to move up. Wow, Bitcoin with a big old pop and drop. GLW trying to turn around. It's now trading above VWAP again. Ryan, if I'm going too fast, just let me know.
No, you're fine. I just had to get caught up here. We're good now. And I can hear you crystal clear. Like literally nothing changed. I literally just pulled the power cord out and I plugged it back in. That's all that changed. Is that frustrating? What did I miss while I was gone?
We missed IVP. Sava is pushed up to 1140. I think we had a halt down. I forget what it was. Sorry, go ahead.
IVP looks like it's finding resistance at yesterday's after-hour high. What it was there? Let me see if there was news on this. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty good. And then after that, you have the pre-market high the day before of 391. So it looks like it's coming up to some resistance levels here. That's IVP. Sava, as long as Sava holds here, it looks like it could push up higher.
So we don't know what's going on in IVP, right? Like I don't see any news here. I don't see any SEC filings here. I don't see any press releases.
Yeah, this one might be. Let me take a look at something here, and I'll give you an answer on what this. I think this is. I said it earlier. This one's on relative volume.
Yeah. Okay. This is just kind of trading action. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, because this one had 54, almost 55 million shares traded yesterday, and on average, it trades 1.8. So, really moving on that relative volume.
How's Palantir doing?
Smoke Tuna saying if SNGX holds 7, it could go to 10.
Palantir nasty.
Is it getting killed?
Yeah, look at this. Big reversal. I mean, it's only down $1 from where it was just at, but it's pretty big reversal there.
Yeah, we'll see if this continues. This is we talked about this in pre-market. This is about the level where I was looking for some reversal anyway. Not to say that this isn't going to hold up around 2650 or anything like that, but I would like to see this come in. Let's say 23. I think that'd be a pretty good spot to come in to before to reload. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Sava looks like it's about to push through 1140 here pretty soon. Let's get rid of that one.
AMD, we're in pullback mode here. I don't really have any other word on this. This moving with the market, though, everything moving to the downside here. SPY moving to the downside, Q's moving to the downside. Dow was already there. Lots of reversals in names. AMD is one of them, but it's not just on tech. See, Kava's actually rolling over here. Tons of green to red moves across the board here. Not likely the next policy move will be a rate hike. So Fed or Powell still trying to jawbone things, but not great.
Yeah, all the big names are down, but still positive on the session. Except for Microsoft, they're down as they have been most of the session. So yeah, everything pulling, like you said. So let's see what happens with CPI and earnings.
Yeah. Now, it's worth noting here, though, that some of these smaller stocks that we've been trading, they don't seem to be affected by the market move. I mean, maybe some of them a little bit, but like looking at SNGX here, it doesn't care about what the indices are doing. So it's just some of those larger names that are kind of trading with the overall market. Lynn, timing wise, it sure does seem like that. But I mean, I'm looking at the comments that are coming out of here. Let's see if Pro caught anything that came out of here that maybe I missed on TV. I'll review them here. You folks tell me if you hear anything here. I'll go from the most recent to the start. Powell says we're in a process of studying implications of that has nothing to do with it. Most recent labor market data sent pretty clear signal that the labor market has cooled considerably. Labor market more or less back to pre-pandemic levels. We are well aware we now face two-sided risks. Well aware that labor market fully back in balance. Now, sorry, these quotes are brutal to read in the sentence. If we move too quickly or slowly on rate cuts, there's risks on both sides. We're balancing the two risks. Boy, all he said is that we're balancing two risks. That's basically what that entire quote was.
Not likely next policy move would be rate hike.
Yeah, that's what I just mentioned there.
Yeah.
More good data would strengthen our confidence. Carefully assess the incoming data. Appropriate policy path and rate adjustments. Remain committed to the 2% inflation goal. None of this is new. I haven't said a single new thing yet.
Right. Yep.
And it's exactly what you said at the beginning here.
Yep. And you know, I'll still say it. I think they're going to be late on rate cuts.
Yeah, no question. They've been late on everything else here.
Yeah. Sorry that pulled our attention away from these movers, folks. I will start looking back at these and see what we got. It looks like SNGX trying to go higher, although the volume in this market is not looking great for a lot of these. I exercise a little bit more caution here. Peggy is now back above VWAP. This one looks like it's trying to return. A lot of upper shadows here that indicate that this could get slapped down again, but we get enough volume, we could end up pushing back up above 2 and a little bit higher into the 2 handle.
And if this holds the VWAP here, that could be pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for France, Smoke Tuna. I'm rooting for France mostly because of you and Mbappe. So hopefully your French team gets a win here today.
All right. I just noticed something here. What was the one I just had up?
IVP still at the highs.
Yeah. Ooh, cost with a big old knife. That just happened.
Oh, huge. Huge. Look at this pull.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, if we keep going lower, it might halt.
I got no problem avoiding stuff like this, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
No problem avoiding that.
All right. What else do we have here to look at? SMGX needs more volume to get above 880. That's all these things need. It's just a little bit more volume. It's not enough to get through all the sell orders in a lot of these names. TGTX, this one's looks like it's going lower. I'd say this one might go under, well, it's already under 20. This one probably is going to go maybe down to under 1950. It's not, doesn't have too far to go, but it looks like it's headed there.
This knocked on the door at 20 here again. See if we can eventually break out here. Maybe not on the first try, but at some point, I think we got to go.
All these movers this morning are now, kind of selling off a little bit here. I've got to wait for some opportunities in this one. I have no positions.
TVTX, let's see if this can actually curl back up and break those highs. I've got that high here, 947. ANVS right back through that VWAP. JNVR, just huge disappointment. That thing totally broke down.
I'll take a look at the, first I'll look at MLGO from Rocky, and then I'll take a look at CRM. Because I saw that MLGO was getting some nice movement this morning in pre-market, and that was because after trading down yesterday, it found support from a key level I have here at 650. Came off of that and was trading up in pre-market. Then as soon as the market opened, it said, haha, got you all. And it's just completely sold off. I don't know where this ends up going, but if there's upside to this, then I would look at 650 as a resistance level after VWAP. And then CRM, I was going to look at here.
I mean, micro aggro had a huge pop on the daily chart right here. This was what 624, right? June 24th. This is just on the backside of the move on that. This is one of those high risk trades that we've kind of talked about. And what was that? Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what that was. Was that the?
So, Robert, with CRM, I see what you're talking about it being near a support level here. You're talking about the bottoming action that was put in back in December of 23 and January of 24. If so, I see what you're talking about. There's also the 20-day SMA that's right in that area as well. The problem I have with this is that we got rejected.
Sorry,
CRM.
CRM.
The problem I have with this is that it reclaimed the 200, traded up there for about a day, and then it went right back underneath it, and now it's headed lower. My concern is that with this death cross that it's about to put in here, that this may indicate that there's some more downside to come. If it breaks through that level, then I think you might have a better time closer to 244. But I still think that you might see even more downside than that. Trade this how you will, and I see that support level you're talking about. I'm just not. I just want to see this I would want to see this reclaim the 200 before and trade and close there for a few days, above there for a few days before taking a position in this, because I don't want to get caught in the downside. And we've already got 2 closes underneath the 200, so a third one tomorrow would be pretty bad for the stock. So that's what I'd be watching for with CRM, Robert.
Good breakdown there. Good breakdown there. I think that 240 level probably comes into play if it can't turn around.
And there's SNGX with new highs. Somebody was mentioning that, and I think that was
tuna. It was the tuna.
Nice tuna.
Hey, Bob, nice job. We'll give you a register ring for that. Nice job ripping some money out of the market here today.
Yeah. Nice. I'm glad that folks are winning.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Oh, IVP knifing now.
Right through the VWAP as well. See if this bounces a little bit here. That's hunting for a bottom.
I'd be looking for some bottoming action at just above 275. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but that's just what it looks like it could do. So we'll see. QURE curling and it's above VWAP again. This is that larger one that I was expecting to be more leaky today. Hasn't gone higher than the 643 high it put in this morning, but it looks like it's curling right now. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, and then SNGX is a great call.
That's been the really good mover here of the day.
That one, SNGX costs, and some of these have had some pretty good moves as well. There was some other ones that I just can't think of at the moment, but costs. This one looks like it's going to end up going lower if it can't retake that VWAP.
Yeah, this formation looks rough.
SNGX 10 soon. Wouldn't put it past you. It's actually already there.
SNGX, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and looks like
that just broke through it too, man.
Yeah. And 1080, there was a big old order there to sell. It's gone as high as that, and it looked like it was getting more pressure from that sell order dropping down lower into the 60s. Got taken out now.
Right through it. 11 coming here.
Yep, 11's the next one.
Man, oh man.
I got some trades out of this, but I wasn't in this when this happened.
Yeah, I didn't trade this one at all here today. This was the right mover.
GLW still trying to push up. It's back above VWAP now, trying to reclaim 44.79, which is the high it put in this morning. Careful with this one, though. We've already seen this knife before. IVP still stabbing its way down. Sava put in a new high.
Tesla, nice move here off the VWAP. Boy, Lynn and Randy, this one. Look at this. Look at this VWAP activity here in Tesla. My goodness, that is awesome.
All right, so QURE needs to break through 590 right now, and then it can take 6.
Oh my God, I'm so struggling with this.
Sell alert on SMGX. I mean, it's had a nice run. Oh, there's 11. I'm sorry, not 11, to 1098. So almost there. But yeah, I'd say that polling now would probably make sense. Yeah, you know, it would be interesting to see if QURE can get back up to that level. But man, the volume's just kind of been so low on this one today. Really needs to start to come in and buy buy its way through these sell walls. Yeah, some of these might just end up turning around and coming back later on in the day. VVPR volume's low, but this one looks like it's got a pretty good formation to where it could push up through 236, the high that it made today intraday. IVP still headed lower. Still think that we'll probably see some support around 275. Sava now high of 1150. WBA closing 600 stores. Is that new? I thought that was some news on that, like last week when they were.
Yeah, didn't they tell us though that more store closings were possible in that? Let me check this here.
You're right. That's what it was. More store closings are possible.
Yeah, I don't see anything fresh from that. Lion, is that late? Are you posting late news? Important to go over that.
All right. SMGX higher. Still ripping.
Sorry, I'm rolling through the news feed here on yeah, Walgreens transfer plans to reduce presence by up to 650 boot stores in the UK and 650 to 700 stores in the US. So I don't think that's new, Lion. I think that's from the old initial post there. Jay, I like your glass half full approach here. There's less stores to rob with those stores being closed.
Lots of New York stores been closing as a result of that.
Yep. Yep.
This is why it does not pay to be soft on crime.
Yep, crime is starting to become an issue across the globe, not just the United States, too. So the crackdown, that's a pendulum, right? That pendulum swings back and forth. When it swings back, the crackdown on it will be fierce.
Yeah, and we could try to look for some potential names to trade on the return to tough on crime. You know, that might be something for another day.
Yeah, that's been a tough one. We've tried that before. We've tried that either by owning prison stocks. We've tried that by non-lethal law enforcement things like body cameras, tasers. Yes. There's a number of things in that basket that we can take a look at when we get there.
Yeah, Axon, not Axon, 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 I think is probably going to be one of the strongest ones to play here on that. And they make the body cams and a whole bunch of other equipment. Thing is, this has been just on an absolute rip since June of 22. And, you know, this might be a good opportunity to get into it on this pullback here. But, you know, that's something you're going to have to figure out for yourself if you want to get into this or not, because it is over $300 a share. But I do like Axon. Look into the contracts they have with law enforcement, and that'll tell you just how much of a runway this company has. So Zap,
a couple of those.
Zap down to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute and getting some support. So this could be an interesting level for ZAPP.
Yeah, and I would agree, Robert. I think that there's still going to be a move in some of those firearm stocks and ammo stocks as well, especially with that. I agree with you there. Crime is more of an issue in the United States when everyone can own a gun. That is false. That is false. And actually, some of the crime stuff that I was reading was from the UK. It had nothing to do with the United States. And I was reading that.
Saba with a knife and might halt.
1082, that VWAP spot for Saba.
Looks like there's not enough volatility for this to halt.
Lemonade, LMND, this actually breaking out here. This is a pretty nice looking chart. This just appeared on my scanner.
Knife crime. Yeah, I would love the knife
Chewy
crime.
calls.
Things are looking a little bit weak, except Zap. That looks like it's trying to turn around, but everything else just kind of ran. Not having a great time extending. SNGX, you know, this one might go higher than 1150, but it seems like it's running out of juice a little bit here.
I mean, this is a ridiculous move, right? This stock was $2 yesterday. We're about to print 12s on SNGX. $2 yesterday.
Low float, biotech.
Jane, are you still out there, Jane? Let me know. If you are, channel memberships will not prevent ads. Another thing that the team is actually looking into. So don't waste your money trying to avoid ads by going with the channel membership. Let our team take care of it behind the scenes. That would be my recommendation.
Thank you, Robert Smith. I appreciate that. World ranked. Any other gun tickers other than SWBI? Yes. RGR is another one. That's Ruger. Sturm Ruger. There's ASO. That's Academy Sports and Outdoors. Now here's another one that I'm not too sure about, but VSTO. I think this one's trying to get acquired, as I recall. But those are some other names too. And then of course, one of the ones that I like that hasn't been doing too well, POWW. They have some inventory problems, but that could be resolved if ammo buying starts to ramp up. There we go. And thank you, chat, for helping us along with that. Saba with a knife, trying to find support. Then it's going to cycle through these, see what we have here. SNGX still not able to get through 1180, but it's trying again.
SNGX.
Yes, there we go. Popped through 1180. Now it's at 12.
There you go. 12 points.
Rejected at 12. Couldn't get through the supply. Yeah, I have a big concern that at some point SNGX will just knife. Remember, this is one. I mean, this is one that has 986,000 shares, less than a million, and it's really extended. So this one could just everybody start selling, taking profit, and be done with it. So just be careful with SNGX.
Real quick here, smart guy, run those ads, get that bag. I would hope you guys at least get something out of it. We do not. We get absolutely nothing out of it, which is why I'm saying I will continue to pass along your feedback to the group, because it seems like it actually creates more problems than it solves. But like I said, I'm passing that feedback along as soon as I get it. So appreciate you folks.
Yeah, Kingdom Lamb. I think you're right that the best stock to invest is actually the firearm itself. But take into consideration where I live, and you'll understand my bias. Lay it on me, Kingdom Land.
Still haven't seen anything new in this Powell testimony here. I'm watching it, and I'm watching some of the headlines as well. Still don't see it.
That's a good one.
Now they're re-saying that there's cooling in the labor market, which we've actually already heard here today. Yes, yes, Bex, they are. The only way here from the team here, real quick. Premium or YouTube Music Premium is the way to avoid those. Like I said, our team's going to try and work with that on our side. I don't want you guys to have to go spend more for that.
Cost went all the way down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. Not sure it's found the bottom, but it did have a little bit of bounce there. It still looks pretty weak.
We'll say Powell needs to get off the TV. Market's just actually kind of still where it was when he started, I feel like. I mean, it did sell off, but I feel like it bounced back.
Yeah, it was probably just a buy the dip moment. Yeah. NVIDIA still doing pretty well. Let me look at a smaller time frame here. Yeah, I mean, well, at the same time, I see the price action in NVIDIA, and we did bounce, but we didn't reclaim the high and go higher. We're kind of like dead cat bouncing a bit here. I think it's going to need to hold 132. If we start trading on under 132, then I'd be concerned about. I'd be concerned about holding the 130s, but we'll see.
Kingdom Lamb here. All right, guys, that was a good open. I'm saving the rest of the buying power for Power Hour. Honestly, I can't even really fault you. It really seems like things have kind of dried up here.
Yeah.
That didn't actually seem like a bad move, to be quite honest.
And as we've observed many times before, some of these names, they just kind of, fall asleep, take a nap for, during lunch, and then later on in the day, they just come roaring back. Or as soon as we get off, live trading, they roar back to life.
Something going on with Baidu. Baidu's actually ramping, right? I don't see any news here on Baidu, but just to give you an idea, we are kind of ramping recently here. Big volume stick in the current window. I don't see any news on this. Let me know if you folks see anything here. Baidu
and other peers are amid a price war as they slash their prices of their latest AI models to compete with China's domestic AI startups.
Where is that? Where can I find that?
That was it was from today. What's going on with Chinese AI stocks, Alibaba, Baidu on Tuesday.
Okay, so that's the one that's in there. Yeah, but that was out hours ago. That's not.
And we've also had some recent weakness in I think the Chinese markets.
Yeah.
Let me see if that's something that I was picking up on because this thing's coming off of a bottom. So, and this has just broke through the 20-day SMA. So I think this is just on a recovery. In addition to that news, so I think they're just they're competitively getting ahead of some of the other companies, and I think that's just the expectation is going to lead to more sales.
QURE finally broke out there, so we're waiting on that move here. Did break out of that consolidation area. We are right. Ooh, yep, we still are above that. Next spot here, if this keeps going, 647. You probably find some size there at 650 as well. Looks like we pulled right back in there. Unable to really get the juice going.
Yeah, this is that larger float stock that I was talking about that I wasn't too sure was going to make moves like this. I thought it was going to leak most of the day. So if it gets to the intraday high and goes higher, then you've got yourself a pretty good one. IVP continuing to go lower. And
just kind of looking around here.
Same. Looks like Peggy's back above VWAP again.
Ken here mentioning JNVR might be one for the afternoon. Maybe. I will say that the morning action here, not great. I would have liked to have seen some better action on that. But yep, keep it on the radar. See if anything sets up here in the afternoon.
Well, I think Line Atlas, you're funny. I think this is
Look,
gonna.
it was recently Independence Day. I think I know where this comes from.
Oh yeah, and I already set off a lot of explosions too, so I can still smell it. Anyway.
Yeah, we got less than a minute. Let's wrap it up here, 13.
Yeah, I don't really think there's a whole lot to look at the moment. I think the better trades might come later on.
Indeed. So we don't really have a whole lot here for you. I know it was we had some good movers here right around the open. At least it looked like that. Things have definitely kind of dried up here. Maybe people are digesting the non-news that we're getting from Powell. Looks like everyone spent the volume on fireworks. There's no volume for the market. Yeah, that's kind of it. We'll be back again here tomorrow, 13. I am glad to have you back. Glad everything worked out here yesterday. We do have Anne Marie coming up next here. So any final thoughts before we sign off? Or just see ya with gunshots? Okay.
No. I want to just remind you, if you could ask her about CAR, Avis Budget. I'm interested in seeing if that one meets her criteria for interesting options trade. I think this one might turn around on news of an elevated travel season, and because we talked about with airlines being busy, I think car rentals could also be busy, and we might get a surprise. And they also have earnings later this month too, so something I'm interested in watching and hearing from her about.
We will start with that one, 13. We'll see you tomorrow. And for those of you that are pro members, we'll see 13 later in the happy hour. So have a good rest of your day. Okay. Good stuff there, folks. Thanks for joining us here. Of course, this now turns to Option Focus with Anne Marie. Anne Marie, how are you doing here today?
I'm doing all right. I know.
You lose your voice?
I got some sort of bug, and I'm so sorry. I was saying to myself, he's gonna hear my voice. It's gonna be atrocious.
Look, it's okay with me as long as it's okay with you. I don't want to make this any worse. I would hate for you to wake up tomorrow and be like, man, Ryan at BZ there, he forced me on for some options trades. Now I can't say anything. that I would like to avoid. I'll try and help you out as much as I can here, Anne Marie. First of all, it's great to have you back. I don't know if you caught the end of live trading there with 13, but he does kind of want to take a look at Avis Rent-A-Car here, ticker CAR. So maybe we can start with that one. And then the other thing that I would do here for the chat, Anne Marie, did you have stocks on your list here, or should we just go ahead and try to take some from the chat?
Just Tesla and maybe Meta, but that's about it.
Okay, so let's start with car. We can go into Tesla and Meta. Folks, if you have something else that you want covered, shout it out and we'll see if we can do this. But let's go ahead and do that. Here is CAR. What are we seeing here?
So this is a weekly chart, and it's been basing for a really long time. You can see that the resistance edge up there around 123, that's a major zone. And so if it holds this 100, it should do really well. And this falls into a cheap trade scenario, because legitimately the risk is, maybe 95, right? And moving up. So it's about a 5% for actual pricing of the stock. So I would think a couple of ways you want to trade this if you are interested in a potential upside. Now, let's look at the daily. This is a weekly chart. Let's look at the daily to see if there's anything else, because the one thing that bothers me about this chart is that let's say this was a very weird looking inverse head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. But this week it's opened up and it's dropped underneath.
I was actually just going to ask you about that, and you just went ahead and did it. I was sitting here literally on my screen, and I took my thumb and I covered those last 3 candles with my thumb. And if you do that, you folks at here, if you do that at home, this looks like an inverse head and shoulders that's getting ready to go. And Anne-Marie, you're right. It has now kind of broken beneath that. So awesome spot there. You saw the same thing I was seeing in real time.
Yeah. And so what we have to think about is, listen, this floor here is the do or die for the stock. And so if we go to the daily, and we've got some storms, so the internet's been a little wonky, but
I had internet trouble this morning too, Anne-Marie.
yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna get barrel coming right up to you. The hurricane that just left, it's gonna sweep itself right up there between.
We are supposed to get the tail end of that rain over several sessions. So
so look out. So if we look at this, we can see that what it's done is there's a gap. Here's the earnings. This earnings event all the way down here, sort of like $93, $94. And really, this gap will not fill day close to day open until we test 95. So it could be going to test that level to fill the gap. And so the question then, I'm going to put an alert there. The question then is, will it bounce once it fills that gap? And it could very well do that. But that is very interesting when you're looking at the big picture and you see a week and you go, oh, I can see what's building here. And you come to the day and you notice this very large gap formation. It's worthwhile to say, you know, I'm just going to pay attention to see whether this is my baseline. So a couple of things we can do. We can say, hey, I think it ought to hold that edge. And we can do something that gives us a pure credit. Like if we go to August, I don't know when their earnings are.
I can find that for you here.
Please. Yeah.
All right. So the next earnings for Avis Rent-A-Car here is going to be unconfirmed for July 29th. So it looks like it comes at the end of this month. Just for reference, last year in 2023, we actually got it on the 31st of July. So end of July.
Okay, great. So we can do a couple of things. If it's the end of July, let's see what August gives us here. No,
it looks like July 29 now.
Yeah. So we can use the August 16, and we can do something called a broken butterfly. And so what a broken butterfly is, and I think I've made this big enough, but let me go one bigger so that we can all see it nice and clean. We can see that the spread between the puts that were long is very small. It's only 5 wide. The puts that are below us, this is a standard butterfly in terms of 1, 2, and 1. But the underside where we are short the puts, we've got a 15 spread. So it takes some risk, but it's a pure credit play. So here's the thing. If this chart gaps down into earnings, not only will we have the credit already sitting there, but if it comes to 95 and then slips into 90, we get $5 extra. So the max win on this position, just so long as it doesn't lose 90, is going to be $5, the amount of the spread plus the credit that we'll get. So $6.20. So as you know, with every option, we have risk and reward. The added risk is if Avis completely falls out of bed and drops well below 90, we start losing money. $90 minus the $1.17 that we get as a credit. So it'd be $88.83. As long as it stays above that level, we're going to be fine. Below that level, we start losing money. Now, this chart is likely to fade and then bounce. And so this is a very sweet spot trade. It does open up some risk if we lose below 90 after the earnings. This is meant to be held into earnings. The next one you could do is you could say, hey, I'm feeling great about this stock. I think it's going to recover its old resistance. So let's take a look at that. If it has old resistance, the nearest old resistance that it broke down off of is this wedge here. And that's about 110, right? And so if you're thinking to yourself, this is going to do great, 110 is going to be a great number, you can do the 105, 115, 125, call spread, call butterfly. It's a regular 1 by 2 by 1. So there's no risk other than what you pay for it. And the upside is potentially $8.72.
Now, I also noticed that the credit and the debit are almost the same there. They kind of offset. Nice.
Yeah, they do. So you can do both. And there's the possibility that you win with both of these, really, if that call, if the price action moves all the way up, into 105, it'd probably be the time to take it off right afterwards. Let's see what's in the way from 115. It could come up there. It could come up to that 115 area. It depends. If the earnings look great and it holds for the day, then you'll be in good shape, right? But again, it ends up being a free trade if you get the credit, and it pays for the call side of the trade for you. So that's a pretty nice setup. Yes, it's complicated. I was listening to AB the other morning, and he was talking about the spreads that I put on. And, it might not be a bad idea. I know your plate is very full, but it might not be a bad idea for us to do something great for the Benzinga Pro guys and gals, where we just get together on a Zoom call or some kind of call, maybe once a month, and spend 30 minutes going, here's what a butterfly looks like. Here's how you enter it, and those sorts of things. I don't know, but I'd like people to get more comfortable.
Yeah, we could definitely do that, Anne-Marie. And I think one of the things about that type of content is that actually makes some really good evergreen content. So we should probably record that and then pass that out when people have follow-up questions about it. I'll tell you, we're all busy here. I got no problem handling that project with you. I think we could knock that out, just the two of us, pretty easily, frankly.
Okay, great.
So yeah, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea.
Okay, awesome. All right. So has anybody come in with anything else?
Yes, snow has been asked about. Now, I think we've actually looked at snow before. Was this one where the option chain wasn't liquid enough and we kind of moved on forward? Or am I mixing that up with another ticker that we have?
I think the problem with snow is that it was sitting close to a region that was either going to be a do or die, and there it is, right? Whether it holds this edge or not, it's rotating over. Let me look at a weekly. I got to tell you, I'm very bearish to neutral this week in terms of the market needing to go and just sort of digest motion a little bit. So let me see if anything is saved in here. Oh yeah, we looked at these already. We had the July move, and then we used the put and the calls. The puts are free right now because they're so far away. And the calls are actually in the money, and they're pretty cheap. So I think they might be cheap because it's sitting right on the edge. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I don't love these options. I think you're right. But the volume's not been bad today. Oh, that's August. Yeah, the volume's not so bad. This is what we had set up in terms of a fade into the end of the month or a bounce into the end of the month. And I think we must have done that last week because it went right up into those edges and then rotated down. If you're the trader and you're thinking to yourself, well, can I do something there? I think we only had this spread 5 wide because of the cost. I think that's what it was. But put side free. Let's see where it might fade to. Yeah, probably 120. Let's see what that looks like. 120 to 110. Whoa, look at that. That's only 3 cents and no risk. Here's why I'm saying no risk. It's only the spread is only $5 wide on the side that we're short, but it's $10 wide on the side that we're long. So if this moves all the way down to 105, we still make $5 because it's only 3 cents. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, that looks fairly good. I could pop it up. Maybe run some stuff on it a little bit later and see if I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now,
13 here saying thanks for the car breakdown. So awesome starting with that. Here's Snow for you. Did you want to do Tesla?
Sure. We have time.
Sure.
Yeah, sure we do. All right. So the big thing with Tesla is this a short squeeze, or is this chart going to continue? And the answer might be yes, right? For both of those. It could be that, yes, it is a short squeeze. And yes, it still could continue. If it is a short squeeze, it's going to give some of its motion back. So we are really just starting the week. And what are earnings on the 23rd? So we had talked about what we could do here, and oh no, I sold this one. Sorry. I want to cover that. We have the iron condor that I talked about. 300 is the top, 305 from a risk perspective. And then these are the ones that we moved into. Oh, here it is. This is the whisper. I gave this trade yesterday to our folks on the Benzinga Pro platform into the earnings. So this is a really solid earnings space that allows us to do 2 things on the cheap. The first thing is we want to think to ourselves, what if this fades? Where will it fade to? Right? So let's just say I'm going to measure the top of this wave to the bottom of this wave, and I'm going to look at the 50% marker. And that 50% marker gives us 220. Okay. Now, I have 200 sitting here because what happens with this chart is that it has a tendency to have outsized moves, and we're trading it into earnings. So this is an earnings trade. This one, August 16th expiry, is not an earnings trade. This is a theta erosion trade. So what we want to do with this one is say, I'm going to put this on for the next 20 days, and I'm going to let theta leak out of it. Theta is going to leak out of it. I'm going to make about 20, maybe 30%, and then I'm going to close it. The others, I'm going to keep on into the earnings release. 300 to 310, 200 to 190, whichever one of these, one of them is going to work pretty well. If, and I chose the 23rd because the 16th has the same strikes. And so I can't put on a butterfly and an iron condor in the same weeks. I have to split them up because I'm using the same strikes. So if I look at this one and I say, maybe I use 210 to 200 to 190, it's about, it's twice as expensive, but if it fades right into that 50% level, it's going to be absolutely rock solid for cash. So here's my suggestion for the iron condors. Nothing wrong with taking 10 of those. You're going to have your risk open up a little bit. The probability of being wrong, meaning being on the losing end of this, is 7%. So you've got a 92% probability of winning in this kind of formation. For the ones on the top here, these are the ones we're going to hold into earnings. So we take this one off after 20 days. Or wait, what is the date? We need to take it off in about 12 days before the earnings, and let that theta just leak out of there, and you'll be in good shape. And then you leave this one on. Don't go big size for these butterflies, because if you're looking at it and you go, hey, I can make like $9. If I'm paying $1.10 or $1.20, I can make almost $9 on each one of them. So, if I'm just spending $120, maybe I'll buy 10 of them. That's a very good way to make your account get very small over time. You trade the onesies of these, and if it gives you a home run, you've got tons of cash to go. And if it doesn't give you a home run, your loss is, something you can put a Band-Aid on. That's how you want to play with a butterfly. And so I just want to make folks realize, don't let your eyes get bigger than your belly. You're going to give yourself a tummy ache on these kinds of trades. So that's it for that.
I like that one. I like that. Don't give yourself a tummy ache, folks. Don't give yourself a tummy ache. Okay, Anne-Marie, we've got about 7 minutes here. I think we can probably cram in another one. We do have a hard stop. In fact, I'd like to end a minute early, actually, if that's possible. I don't know if you have another one on the docket here. Robert was asking about a possible coin squeeze. Maybe that's something that we can take a look at, COIN.
Absolutely. I'll keep my eyes on the time for us there. All right, so coin is caught in a range. I still believe coin is in iron condor land. Here's the thing. This looks either like a flag or a pennant, depending on which way you want to draw it. Pennants normally break in the direction of the pole. So it's looking for further upside. That being said, when it breaks is any man's game, right? We've had Bitcoin come in a lot. It just bounced, but it still looks a little dicey. So yes, I think that you are absolutely correct. Price is compressing. Let's go to the monthly chart very quickly and see if we can see anything further. Yeah. Let me close this one off. Yeah, if I were a betting man, I would say, when did they report? 8-1. This is another one where you can really look at the chart and go, all right, it looks like support action is at maybe 175, but it could be all the way down at 125. You could get yourself a protective, an unbalanced put, butterfly. Same kind of one that we put in the other space and say, all right, what if I do, there's not enough premium there. If I saw the 175 to 65 to 35 and give you a 20-cent credit. But again, the risk would be pretty sizable. I would wait for this thing to make a move, and then I would trade after it rather than getting in front of it. That's just my gut with this one particularly, because, we expect Bitcoin to be sort of a store of value if we expect these things, and we've watched gold run up the cycle while Bitcoin is struggling. And so I think there are a couple of question marks there. Now, if the ETFs that the CBOE is trying to come in with, they're trying to get something to trade Solana at the CBOE.
Yep.
And if those things start coming up and there's more activity there, this is going to give it another leg up. So that's my thought there, but I'd wait for it to happen. And then,
I also think crypto in general is going to be an election issue as we move closer to the November election. So that's something else maybe to kind of figure in, depending on how long you're going to take some of these trades here.
That's
I don't know which direction it's going to go, but I feel like it's going to be kind of a battleground that's going to go back and forth.
I think you're
and the other thing is we actually might be able to set up another trade, right? So if you're able to make some money off of this first coin trade, we actually might be able to take some of those profits then and roll them into a second trade that might actually capture the election itself. So we'll see.
I like it.
Yeah, look, we got a plan here. I appreciate everyone coming up with different content to put in here. That's real great. Anne-Marie, I think we can cut it here. That's pretty good. We'll be back with you on Friday.
Yes, sir.
And live trading will be back tomorrow. So Anne-Marie, can't thank you enough. Awesome stuff here from the group as well. Any parting words for the group, Anne-Marie?
You know what? Watch your size. Watch your size and let the trades come to you.
Watch your side. I like that. I like that a lot. Anne-Marie, I hope your voice is better. Thank you so much for gutting this out here today. We will see you on Friday. Take care. All right, everybody. Paul Meek's next. I'm going to send you right over.